All right, we're back with another pick'em video. Going to be talking my favorite plays on PrizePicks right now. If you're looking for football plays, I will be dropping a video later today for Thursday Night Football. Going to attack some earlier value, and then maybe even doing a second video tomorrow. We're going to see what happens. But really liking the board for MLB and WNBA right now, and ultimately going to bring you guys 5 of my favorite plays. If you followed yesterday's video, we did the same thing: some WNBA plays, some MLB plays, and we swept the board. We gave out 4 picks. They all hit. I guess 3 of them hit. One guy didn't play. Tyler O'Neill didn't play. But the pitcher we talked about, his matchup that we didn't like, Tyler O'Neill had been struggling. He did pitch very well. Bowden Francis did. So, I felt good about that one. If he did play, Shohei Ohtani hit in his first at-bat. We talked about Skylar Diggins over her fantasy score. She went over her fantasy score because, that's why I attacked it. Steals and blocks. She was able to get 3 steals and 1 block. And, I think she had 39 fantasy score on a 34 line. And then last but not least, I can't even think of right now, but that one cashed as well. Oh, it was Sabrina Ionescu under 10.5 rebounds and assists. And I was like, this is probably going to be a sweat. I wouldn't be surprised at all if she gets 10. And she did get 10, but did stay under for us. So really good reads yesterday. And I'm going to try to keep that momentum going, 3-0 yesterday. Hopefully we're on an 8-0 run by the end of today. So if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. I have a Discord community and a bunch of links down below if you want discounts or deposit matches on anything. Use the links in the description. It helps the channel out. And again, if you want access to all my slips and the cool community we've been growing, the link is in the description to join there as well. So let's jump into the board, talk some plays. Really liking what I'm seeing right now. All right, so jumping into the PrizePicks desktop screen here, I want to start by saying if you're not on PrizePicks, use code RichPicks. There's also a link in the description that might be even a little bit easier. And when you do that, you're going to get $50 free to mess around with on PrizePicks once you sign up as a new user. You do have to deposit $5 and bet that $5, but once you do that, they're going to automate a $50 transfer into your account, and you're going to be able to bet however you want on PrizePicks, whether you want to tail me or whatever you want to do. Also, using my code specifically, you're going to get into my Discord, my premium Discord, for an entire month free. That's not automated though, so you do have to comment something down below, say, hey, use your code, we'll get in contact somehow. You can also join the free part of the Discord, then just hit up the general chat or something, or maybe even DM me if it allows you to, and just say, hey, use your code, and we'll figure it out, and I'll get you that free month. So that's how you can tail exactly if you're not on PrizePicks. But I know most of you are, so let's jump into the first play of the day. And it's actually going to be a Yerfie, and we're going to talk about a Nerfie, which we don't do very often. If you don't know what Yerfies or Nerfies are, it's the first inning runs allowed tab. No runs first inning would be a Nerfie. Yes runs first inning would be a Yerfie. So we'll start with the Yerfie here. I think it's the earlier game as well. Yeah, it is. And it's going to be Austin Gomber and Eric Fetty, Colorado and St. Louis. Anytime I see Austin Gomber, his hits allowed line is always super high. He gives up a lot of runs. He gives up a lot of hits. He's not an amazing pitcher, and we're going to check that out. But I'm going to take the over here, mainly because, again, Austin Gomber, but also because the market value on the list line is insane, and we always want to attack market value. Jumping into Odds Jam, if you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of market value, this is telling us on all sports books. So, PrizePicks is a fixed payout system. They don't care if you take the over or the under. On a lot of other sports books, they're going to pay you out less or more, depending on which line they favorite more, whether you take the over or the under. So for this line specifically, you can see it's bouncing around. But right now it's a minus 132 on the over consensus odds. Why is that? That's because Pinnacle, minus 125 on the over. DraftKings, minus 145 on the over. They're paying you out less money if you take the over because they're saying it's much more likely to happen. Whereas if you were going to take the under on these sports books, they're actually going to give you plus money to take the under because they're saying it's much less likely to happen. Those are the lines we want to attack on PrizePicks. There just happens to be 2 on PrizePicks right now that are Yerfies and Nerfies, and we're going to use both of them until they get taken off the board because they're too valuable to use on PrizePicks. So not only do they have insane value right now, anytime I see Austin Gomber, I'm going to take advantage of that. You can see his numbers right here, 4.67 ERA against St. Louis specifically, 7.20 ERA, and then WHIP is a 1.31. That also goes up against St. Louis in terms of his history against them to a 1.4. The last time they played each other, he gave up 4 runs. I didn't actually check if he gave up any in the first inning, but again, we just need 1. And on the other side of things, Eric Fetty is a much better pitcher, but he can also give up some runs as well. So really liking this in terms of market value. Wanted to point it out to you guys. Again, we're rooting for Austin Gomber to give up 1 hit or I guess 1 run to St. Louis, and I think he can do it. Market value is looking really good. So that's going to be our first play of the day, and you guys already saw in Odds Jam. The other one is going to be right here. And by the way, I looked up that June matchup that Austin Gomber had against St. Louis, and he did give up 3 runs in the first inning, which is awesome. But let's move on to Cody Bradford and Brady Basso, both very, very good pitchers in terms of their numbers, and not as good offenses in this one either. But market value is really what drove me here again. Minus 133.4 on the under. Consensus, you can see all of these, minus 120, minus 140, minus 130, minus 130. I could keep going on and on. They're very consensus, going to pay you out less money if you take the under than if you take the over. They're all giving you plus money. So they're all saying much likely to go under than over. And you can see that in the average sportsbook odds. But let's take a look at their numbers as well. Brady Basso, or Basso, whatever, only has 19 innings pitched so far, but in those innings, 1.09 whip, 2.33 ERA, so that is very good. He did play Detroit, which is one of the hotter teams in the league. That was a few weeks ago. The White Sox and then the Cubs, he gave up 3 runs in that game, but only 0 runs in the first 2 games, which I like to see. So not a ton of history on him, but his numbers are really good. The guy we do have history on is going to be Cody Bradford here. Awesome numbers, 3.59 ERA, 0.94 whip, and then against Oakland specifically, how about a 1.32 ERA, elite, and a 0.73 whip, so even gets better against this team. And we can see that they've faced each other twice. He gave up 0 runs in the first matchup back in April, and then more recently he did give up 2 runs. I should have checked this, I probably will, but only 2 runs in the game. Hopefully neither of those were in the first inning. So really, really good numbers for these pitchers. It makes sense to me. You can also check out the numbers for the batting. Oakland is 17th ranked the past 30 days against left-handed pitchers, so they're bottom half of the league. And then if we go to Basso, we can see Texas is really struggling against lefties. 2 lefty pitchers on the mound today. I had it pulled up right here. Last 30 days, 27th ranked with a batting average of only .188 for Texas. So really, really liking this. Another very good market value play, but the numbers are lining up as well. So that was a very kind of in-depth review on Nerfies and Yerfies. Probably not the sexiest lines in the world. They can very much be stressful because they're over very quickly, but I'm really, really liking these 2. I wouldn't mind putting them into a 2-man or throwing them into a bigger play because we're going to talk about more plays moving forward here. So those are the first 2 plays. I got one more in the MLB and then a couple plays in the WNBA. So by the way, I looked at the Cody Bradford game against Oakland, and the game he gave up 2 runs earlier in the year. It wasn't in the first inning, so that Nerfie did hit. So again, really liking the Nerfie here, really liking the Yerfie here as well. Moving on to the next play, this is going to end up being a teaching point because PrizePicks already yanked it off. It was at 5.5. I got it in on PrizePicks. I sent it out a while ago on my Discord. I'm sure people were able to tail, but it got taken off the board. But if we talked about it yesterday, we're going to talk about it again today because it's happening more and more often. The Shohei Ohtani line yesterday, if you were watching that video and you're like, dang, the Shohei line's gone, the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs line is gone. PrizePicks took it down, but Betr did not take it down, and this happens a lot. So if you're not on PrizePicks, I love PrizePicks. I use it every single day. Absolutely get on it. Use my code. Great way to support the channel. Great way to get into the Discord for free. But I would also recommend getting Betr. It's one of my favorite platforms right now, and they have lines that are not supposed to be on a fixed payout system site. So again, minus 5.5, you can see this Davis Martin line. Minus 136 on the under. PrizePicks yanked it off. Underdog probably never even had it. I saw this when it was like minus 132. The data was looking really, really good. I took it on PrizePicks. They took it off. So again, just another good teaching point. Definitely try to get on Betr. You can use my code RichPicks. Again, that's going to translate to a free month of the Discord. But again, if you miss a line that I'm talking about on PrizePicks, sometimes it's still available over on Betr. A lot of the times, actually, it's still going to be available on Betr. So not going to break down this Davis Martin play. I like it a lot. If you want to jump over on Betr, you can see parlay play just is changing something here. If you want to jump over on Betr, use my code. It's a great way to support the channel, and you can tail this line over there. But now let's talk about Jack Flaherty, one of the best pitchers in the league who came over to the Dodgers from Detroit. And he's going up against San Diego. Both these teams are kind of battling for playoff positioning. So this is going to be a great game to watch if you want to watch some baseball that matters. It's kind of going to be like playoff baseball. Dodgers, Jack Flaherty over 5.0 strikeouts. There's a reason why I don't really love this line, and you're going to see the reason why I do love this line. So kind of a push potential. If I had to guess, I'd say he probably gets 5 strikeouts tonight. But let's just jump into his page and see why I think that there's very much potential he can go over this line. And this is why. 74% of games he's gone over this line. A lot of games, I guess not a lot. 4 games he's pushed this line. In the 3 games that he hasn't gone over, he had 4, so he just missed. The reason this line is at 5.0 is because he's going up against San Diego. They're the best team in the league at not striking out. They have been all year, and they continue to be. 17.1 K percentage is where they're at. The reason I still like this line is not only because of the hit rate, but because of the specific history that Jack Flaherty has against this San Diego team. He wasn't as good as a strikeout pitcher last year, and the head-to-head matchup we have was only the one from last year, so I'm not taking too much into consideration for that. He did only have 3 strikeouts there. But really what I'm looking at is the specific players that are on San Diego now and how they've matched up against Jack Flaherty in his history against them since 2018. Not a whole lot of history, a lot of guys with 2 at-bats, 4 at-bats, sometimes 8 at-bats, but you can see the K percentage for each of those guys is typically worse than their normal K percentage. You see 50 right here, you see it in the red. That's because these guys are striking out more against Jack Flaherty. 50%, 20, 50, 40, 21, 37, 25, 25. A lot of these guys are in the red specifically against Jack Flaherty. He's a good strikeout pitcher, and I do like to see that history. Not only that, I go on my RotoWire projection model, and they're projecting 5.42. That's higher than 5. So again, if he gets 5, it doesn't hurt us. If he gets that 6th one, that would be great. The only way he can hurt us is he goes his worst game of the year in terms of strikeouts, and he gets 4 or less than that. So I'm taking it. I like the value on it. We can look at the projection, or not the projection model, the market value here, which is Jack Flaherty. 5.5 is where everyone else has this. It looks like -134, -140. So not even crazy juiced on the under. So everyone's kind of coming together, saying this line's probably going to hit at 5.0. That's why PrizePicks has the line here. But I like the potential for him to get that 6th one just because of how good he can be and because this game means a lot. So I'm taking it Jack Flaherty over 5.0 strikeouts. That's going to be the 4th play. And now I do have one in the WNBA for us. And then I can get you guys out of here. All right, so moving into our WNBA play of the day, I'm going to be focusing on this Indiana and Connecticut game. If you don't know, Indiana could get eliminated from the playoffs today. You only have to win 2 games in the first round, and Indiana got crushed in that first game. And the reason I'm going to be focusing on this team is because of the news of Ty Harris. I think there's a lot of value in Marina Mabrey. That's why you're going to see a lot of people playing her PRA. Her fantasy score, she did come in and play very well when Ty Harris, got injured, only played 3 minutes in game 1, and Connecticut still went out and dominated that game by like 25 points. So if you want to go to these, I don't mind that at all. I ended up landing, though, on her turnovers line at 1.5. If Ty Harris isn't going to play this game and Mabrey's going to start and get 30-plus minutes, if this game's a little closer, she might get closer to 35 minutes rather than her 32 that she got in game 1. And when she handles the ball a lot, she's going to have more opportunities to turn the ball over. This is a scrappy, do-or-die game for the Fever. They're going to do everything they can to make it harder on anyone. And Mabrey's going to have the ball in her hands a lot, her and Alyssa Thomas. So turnovers line is the best hit rate line that I can find for Mabrey at a 73% hit rate. Now, she did get traded earlier in the season. She used to play for the Sky. Now she plays for the Sun. But games with Alyssa Thomas, you can still see a 58% hit rate. And 2 games with Alyssa Thomas playing the Fever, she's still gone over this in both of those games. It's not a great hit rate with Alyssa Thomas in action, but in games without Ty Harris, you can see an 86% hit rate. Yes, a lot of these games are going to be in her Sky days, but it just goes to show that if Ty Harris isn't going to be there and Mabrey's going to be the main ball handler for this team, she's very prone to getting more than 1.5 turnovers. She's done it 86% of games. So I really like the 1.5 turnovers line. I'll probably end up playing her PRA too if you want to be rooting for a more fun line. But I think she does go out here and get the 1.5 turnovers. If you want to look at the projection model over on RotoWire, I can pull that up, and her turnovers line is one of the best right now at 2.07 on a 1.5 line. They're projecting her to get at least 2. And again, we have a great data point to look off of. Just last game without Ty Harris in the lineup, she played 3 minutes, but Mabrey played the most of that game, and she had 2 turnovers against this Fever team. So that's the way I'm playing it. I really like this line at 1.5, but again, 23.5 PRA, also a solid way to play this. And then this isn't going to be an official pick, but I do want to point out the fact that I do like this 9.0 assist line for Alyssa Thomas. She seems to get a ton more assists in the playoffs, but also if Ty Harris is going to miss this game, we just saw her put up 13 assists in yesterday's game, so that was a playoff game very specific to what we're seeing tonight. But also the game that Ty Harris missed earlier in the year, this is back in July, she had 14 assists. So she's averaging 13 and a half assists with Ty Harris out of the lineup. And she's also averaging a little bit more at home, 8.05 to 8.29. So I don't mind this at all. If you want to look back at her assist lines from last year, she assisted the ball extremely well throughout the playoffs. Looks like every single game she at least hit this line, so that's awesome to see. But yeah, she turns it up in the playoffs. We just saw her get a triple-double. If Ty Harris is going to miss this one, I wanted to point out that Alyssa Thomas, could definitely get 9+ assists for tomorrow's game for sure, or tonight's game. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. Again, here's the full slip I actually submitted earlier and sent to the Discord. But the Davis Martin play did get taken off while I was making this video. But we pointed out it's a great teaching point. They take it off because it's too good of a value. We took it at -132 value when it was available on PrizePicks. But they took it off because we read the data and we got a great line. Betr is slower at doing this. I just saw that they have Shohei Ohtani's line still at 1.5 over on Betr. That's not available on PrizePicks. That's not available on Underdog either. They're just giving you more valuable plays on Betr, and you want to be able to take advantage of that. So if you're not on multiple different platforms, if you're only on PrizePicks, and you ever watch these videos and you're like, oh, dang, I missed that line, I got bumped or whatever, Betr is the one right now that's kind of the newer one on the block, slower at moving their lines. And they never do the 0.0 lines like PrizePicks or Underdog do. You'll never see a 5.0 line. And I think that's why they keep them up a little bit longer, because they can't have no lines out, for pitchers and things like that. So yeah, that's why you want to get on different platforms. All my codes and links are in the description down below. It's RichPicks for most of them, but I do want to mention that Sleeper Fantasy is also doing promotions today. That's code RICH if you want to sign up for Sleeper Fantasy. I really like that app for my fantasy football league, because you can just click, bet on your guys, and it'll make an 8-man slip today. Literally today, I put in a $5 for $477 return on an 8-man, just using guys on my fantasy team for fun. So it's just kind of a fun thing to do there. But yeah, code RICH, they got promotions going on today. But teaching point here, you want to get on multiple different platforms. It's a great way to support me. It's a great way to get into my Discord for free months. So yeah, all the stuff's in the description down below. This is a longer video because I'm a ramble god pretty much, and I always do that. But yeah, hopefully you guys got some winners in this one. We're 3-0 in terms of yesterday's video. Going to try to make this an 8-0 streak. And I don't want to forget that I did point out Alyssa Thomas over 9.0 assists. I think she could get there as well if you want to dabble with that one. I'll see you guys later today for our Thursday Night Football video. I want to attack some early value there. And yeah, I'll see you then. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave the video a like, comment something down below. Peace out.